So this is something we've been waiting on, bringing in. This guy right here, he's the one that buys our goats at the very, very end. Like he said, it's kind of the last resort. We take them to the meat market, right? So we brought him in to tell us the truth about what we need, the best way to sell our goats, and everything else. More probably a commercial side than a register side, but in the end thing, it all comes down to our bucks and does go to the meat market, right? So he buys goats all over the place. Probably one of the well-known person around here that buys our stuff at the market in Kansas, most of Oklahoma, and everything else. So any questions we have, he's going to talk about the 3 W's, and then we want lots of questions. I'll have some online questions and stuff like that. So anything you got, please let him know and ask him questions, please. That'll help the conversation. I'm gonna try to get everybody. It's too loud.
Okay.
That's loud.
He said he'd put me in the pen. I said, I don't like you saying that. You don't understand. I'm still trying to buy my way back into heaven, you know. Oh, I wish Sky Shivers was here to hear me. He'd scream, don't you say that. I said, I'm trying my best to buy my way back in, Sky. Oh, he gets mad saying that. God, I hope he's watching. Open heart surgery. When I talked to him the other day, you know, it wasn't my Sky, you know. Is that on now? All right. Hey, I'm Mike Perschbacher from Sulphur, Oklahoma. First of all, I want to thank you for asking me to come speak. I don't know why, because I'm not a speaker, not close. I'm a damned old goat buyer. Run 2 sale barn, sheep and goat end of it. But I do see where I can tell you my thought on the end result of these goats. And I want to thank the people that asked me to speak. Like I said, I'm not a speaker, but we're going to try this. About 17 years ago, they asked me to give a speech on these boars. So they're going to have this big conference and all this, and I'm on the way down with my daughter, who's 13 at the time. Daddy, did you write a speech? No. Dad, what are you going to do? You got to speak for 45 minutes. I said, I don't know. I guess we'll tell them about the sheep and goat business. I don't know. Well, she kind of griped about it. So I reached over and grabbed a little piece of paper. It's 3 inches by 2 inches, and for some odd reason, I don't know why, the 3 W's come up. So I looked there and I said, here's my speech, sis, right here. She said, it's 3 W's, Dad. And I said, I know, sis. That's all I got. So we get down there, and I thought there'd be 50 people, and there was 500. Their speakers had all this elaborate stuff. Me, I come with a piece of paper about that size. Still, that didn't tear them all up, trust me. I don't have many. From that, I did understand what the good Lord had put on me to tell was the 3 W's. Where to sell, when to sell, what weight to sell. I'm the end result. You guys ought to sell your goats anywhere but a sale barn. Sale barn, you're going to get sale barn price. But if you're raising them for sale barn, it's a great place. Great place to sell them. Get your money, get your check right then. And it's all considered percent of profit. What is your percent of profit? If you're making money feeding that goat in this pen right here and you're selling your kids, you got 2 nannies and you're selling them for $500, $1,000 a piece, stay right there. That's a great percent of profit. That won't work if you're coming to me. But if you're like most goat farmers and you got them on a pasture and everything, everybody's got them elites. Look right here. But you don't have all elites. So them other goats that come to me, and I get calls all the time, well, my goat didn't do this, my goat didn't do that, and I explain to them why. There at our sale barns, at any sale barn that's going to sell sheep and goats, it's weight and condition. First of all, on the 3 W's, when to sell. Watch your markets. Everybody that's been it long can tell you the cooler months, cold months are always more. They're more valuable, higher. Summer months, it's not a good time to sell, but that might be your time when you have them and it works best for you, but the lower prices are in the summer. It's always a major drop, usually May, June, somewhere in that neighborhood. The last few years, we haven't seen that major drop, $40, $50, $100. We hadn't seen it. I think the influx of immigrants into the United States has made a difference on that, because everybody eats goats. Now, I don't mean to offend nobody in this building or on TV, but us white rednecks, the only one don't eat it. Everybody else eats it. Every nationality besides us. So it's getting more popular and more popular, and I don't think that the prices will see that huge price drop in the summers like we have in the past. But pay attention to that. It's a big deal. Pay attention to somewhat of the ethnic holidays. We got an ethnic holiday coming up in Nepal. We got some kind of a holiday the 1st of October. These weathers have been crazy. Best kill kid at my place bring $340 last time. I had some $4 weather kids weighing 100 pounds. It's just because there's weathers, and that's what they're looking for right now. And then everybody talks about Christmas. Oh, they're high at Christmas. Oh, they're high at Easter. Nothing farther than the truth. Last time I looked, probably 5% of all sheep and goats eaten in the United States go to non-believers of our Lord. So why would they celebrate Christmas for the resurrection? They don't. They don't celebrate that. 25 years ago, it used to be a big deal. There wasn't as many people eating goat that's in here now. So now, it's not like that. Some of my cheapest lambs and goats that we buy are the week of Easter. It's because everybody's trying to send. Now, it is a little better at certain times on certain things for that time, but for the most part, don't try to do that. If you're coming for Christmas, and the only reason Christmas is sometimes higher, and sometimes, is all the major sale barns shut down for 2 weeks. We average at our sale barn, or our 2 sale barns, we probably average 3,500, 4,000 head a month. Well, we have 1 sale that month, just 1. Then you go look like San Angelo, the biggest sheep and goat sale in America. They run on an average 6,000, 5,000 head. You take out that for 2 weeks. Galway down there run 2,500. Take that out for 2 weeks. Fredericksburg, take that out, 3,000. They're going to get higher before because everybody's trying to get ready for it. We will start getting ready November 1st at them little plants that I go to, putting stuff back for that. But that's what I say, when to sell. Pay attention. Look at some of these ethnic calendars and that. Now, what weight? Forever and ever I've preached sending them kids weighing 50 to 62 pounds. Said it a jillion times, and I'm going to say it again, but not as heavy as that. Nowadays, the heaviers are doing almost as good. That 65, 75 pound goat that we used to dock you, now, we used to dock you pretty bad on it. Now we don't dock you near as bad. You can get them a little bigger. Only you know what your feed costs are, whether you want to take that goat on up to 75 pounds or sell him at 60 pounds. But it has changed a little. And I think the whole goat deal, I'm seeing way more lambs being processed today than we used to in the past. Several years ago, I had a little packing plant there at home, and we processed 700 to 1,000 a week. Well, we killed 1,000 a week, 800 of them were goats. 200 were lambs. It's not the way it is no more. Now, I can sell 800 lambs to 200 goats. It's kind of changed a little, and I know that's not what you want to hear, but it's even more to pay attention where to sell them, when to sell them, what weight to sell them. But there is a great demand for it, and there always will be. This deal's here to stay. So that's what weight. That's you've got to consider that. And then consider, I've always told everybody, leave them bucks. Gain that half pound, $3 a pound, that's a buck and a half a goat. Don't sound like much till you have 100 head, and then that adds up. But if you're going to get that goat to 75 pounds, now I'm going to tell you to cut him, band him, make him a wether. They will bring more. Once they hit that 75 pounds or so, it makes a difference. And sure will now on a 50-pound pygmy wether. Still good all for this holiday coming up. After that, they'll drop. But the weight is predominantly 50 to 62 pounds on a number one kid if you're going to send them. Like I said, grow them there a little bigger. It's not going to hurt. Depends on your cost. And then where to sell. Where to sell is very big. All of them are. I won't say it. Again, study. I think a lot of people get into this and they, boy, we're going to do wonders. And Joe Blow over here sold me these registered Kikos or registered boars or set of fainting goats. And he's making money and he's doing this and doing that, and we're going to follow him. Don't follow nobody. Study yourself. Heard it said Gene times, oh, you a sale barn, y'all don't have good goats. Bull crap. Bull crap. If you're a very large sale barn, you'll have some of the best nannies that walk. And a lot of it has to do with people going out and buying them, don't do their homework, get fed up and tired, and they come right back to one of us, sale barns. Right back. After you've gotten your goat, figured all this out and you think you have, and then you take him to a little auction that has 200. Got a lot of traders in there. Most likely not one buyer. Actually, there's very, very few buyers in the United States. Worlds of goat traders. That right, Curtis? Worlds of goat traders. When you're having 200, 150, 300 head, it's hard to get a buyer. I don't want to go and get 40, 50 head. There's a little sale right south of me, very close. I skipped my grandson's first birthday party. I backed a pot up there. I had my straight deck double there. Guaranteed me 800 head, and I need them. I got 47 head. I'll never go back to that barn. Don't care how many they have now. Lost me forever. So go to a barn, reputable, that you know they're going to have stock. I don't want to tout ours, but I oversee 2 sale barns, Payne County Stockyards, Perkins, Oklahoma, second and fourth Thursdays. We average about 1,500 per sale. We got buyers, and I've got traders. Thank God for the traders, but I got buyers. I oversee a sale in Coffeyville, Kansas, Coffeyville Stockyards, the second Monday of every month. We have buyers sitting right there. And I tell everybody at our barn, I appreciate everybody. I love everybody to come. If you don't buy a goat, come on. If you're a goat trader, goat buyer, come on. But I know what we're going to give. You've got to have a barn like that. Study. Don't, after you've done all this and done all things right, and then you send your goat to a little sale barn that most likely are going to come to a bigger sale barn. We get a lot of trader goats right out of these other little sale barns, come right to us. Study that. This is a good business, and it does make money, but there's a lot of work to it. A lot of work. So that's the 3 W's. But then I've come up, I have no idea, I'm sure the Lord told me, because I'm not smart enough to think about myself, but percent of profit. Your percent of profit. Again, you might have goats that you raise right here, in this little pen right here, and you make money. That's great. But it's not all like that. It's all different I've told the story. Right up the road from me is my good friend Terry Loper. Terry feeds probably 500 head of sheep and goats. Only the best does he feed. 3 miles down the road, you got my little operation. What do I feed? Everybody's coals. When we set them in at our sale barns, we're on the money and we don't back up, and I get some coals. And I get lots of pygmies. But that's what I feed. Terry can't feed the coals and the pygmies and make it work. I can't feed the very best and make it work, really. It's all in percent of profit, you know. His is costing $100 a head, at least, 100 and something. Mine costs 35 bucks a head, percent of profit. Of course, he'll get $4 a pound for his when they come out probably, and I'll get $2.53 for mine. It's all percent of profit, and that's what you have to look at. If you're raising these things to come to these sales, great. Figure your profit. Oh, and one thing I did forget, my good friend, and I think we all need to think about him, Sky Shivers, just had open heart surgery. When they asked me to do this, I said, JD, I'm not your man. I'm not a breed guy. Kiko, Spanish, Boer, Pygmy, I don't care what they are. Condition and weight's what I look at. And I was telling Sky, and I said, Sky, I've offended a few people over the years by some things, and I said, I don't want to offend nobody. And he said, remember this, you're here to talk about markets and markets only. So if you're listening, there you go. When I got here yesterday, they said, pick your favorite goat. That won't be a problem, I can pick it. Okay. 60, 70 head back there, I'll pick my favorite goat, wherever you have. First goat to come to back here. Lot number 81, I think. That's it. No need to walk no farther. I like a little shorter goat, square built, line back. That's her. Until I walk 2 pins down, 3 pins, 4 pins. You guys have got a great set of nannies here. Really do. I know some of them been kept up and fed and some haven't. I'm impressed with your nannies here. Breed them to the right buck. There you go, Sky Shivers. Breed them to the right buck. At my place, in every sale barn where you've got major buyers, they look at condition. That goat comes in there thin, and I ship that goat to the East Coast. Not many people have seen what it looks like from here to there. You send a goat to my place on Thursday night, and I don't have a pot that picks him up till Friday morning. We feed them water, not even feed, water. Okay, I'll water them. And that kid that's so pretty and good that you've raised and fat and slick, I put him on a pot Friday morning. He's 24 hours. Get to New York, Vermont. We send him to a plant there in Vermont. Ollie, hope you're watching. You get that goat there, and that number 2 kid is hammered to death. Really is. That's the big reason why they got to be good if you're going to ship back east. Well, if you don't ship east, then you got to go south or somewhere else, and the market's already as good. It goes back to percent of profit. You know, if you send me a goat and let's say the good one brings 320 and a number 2 or 3 goat brings 220, maybe you're making profit there. It goes back to percent of profit. But any goat, when he gets there, pretty sells. It's not color, it's condition. Hell, I think a pretty pygmy, if you ask me, is pretty. Condition and weight, you know. That's what it all goes back to. And percent of profit. But if you have any questions, I mean, I don't know what else I can stand up here and tell you stories, but those are the major things. Where to sell, pick that barn that you like, that you know buyers are going to be there. When to sell, know them markets, study it. They got calendars when these holidays are and stuff. What weight? Percent of profit, where is going to be best for you to sell it? Sometimes you can sell that 40-pound kid really high because he's going to go in the feedlot. Best kill kid today at our place, Thursday night, we'll bring 330. The best boar kid that's going to go in a feedlot, or Kiko, if he's great, could bring 350 to go in the feedlot, maybe 360. Maybe you can take him up that 10 pounds from 40 pounds up to 50 or 52. Take $10, $12, $15 less, but you're making more profit. Percent of profit. Like I said, it's all about the 3 W's, percent of profit. The 3 W's, if you will study them, I'm not going to tell you you'll be successful. I'm telling you, you have a hell of a lot better shot at being successful with those 3 things. And don't think I come up with it. Like I said, my daughter said, have you got this speech wrote? No. My wife asked me yesterday for the 14th time, did you write a speech? Yeah. I didn't. If she's watching, she knew better. She knew I was just teasing her a little bit, you know. But what I want to do is to inform you. When you come to a sale barn, that's what we're looking for. If you come with a number 2 or 3 kid and you're happy with it, that's what he's going to bring. If you're striving for that number 1, he'll bring a number 1 price. And I know I see JD over here. He asked me about, yeah, what's it called?
That's been a big deal. That's one of the questions on here was the ribeye area on a goat. And then what do you look at when them goats come off to grade them?
When,
What you think's the number 1?
right. What's it called? REA or ribeye area? I have no idea. To me, I have no idea what it. Do you think a ribeye makes a difference to me in a sheep and goat? Most people, and there's another thing that if there's a packing plant around, ask them, go get your hard hat and put it on there and go in there and watch them process. You're raising them, you ought to see the end result. This ribeye deal they're talking about, to me, is foreign. No idea. Almost every sheep and goat that's processed in the United States of America, do you guys know how it's done? You're going to hang it up like a beef and cut steaks out of it and roast? No. It's cut up in 2-inch by 2-inch pieces. Run through that bandsaw in seconds. I don't know how big your ribeye is. Don't care how big your ribeye is when you come. That's something maybe for down the line for something else. Not at a USDA or a local packing plant. We don't know nothing about that, don't care. The condition and weight of that goat. We're going to take that goat and it's going to be chopped up in many, many little pieces. So we don't look at ribeye area. And, you know, maybe in certain circles that might be great. When you come to a sale barn, no. Condition and weight's what we look at.
I think everybody in here probably that's what we take her to sell.
Yeah, eventually, like I said, I hope you sell your goat somewhere really good, higher, you know. But we're the end result, is that sale barn. Eventually, you know. And like I said, they're worth what they're worth when they get there. If the condition isn't good and they're wormy and this and that, you're going to get that price for them. You bring a good, healthy goat and you'll get a good price. Like I said, but there you go again, one of the 3 W's, where to sell. You know, it goes back to that. So, now, okay, has anybody got any questions? I'll try my best to answer some. Yeah. Oh, okay. Great question. Great question. He asked if it was when to bring them to that sale to try to hit a holiday. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I'd say, is because it takes us time to get them to that plant. Sometimes a week. But the week of, you can about forget about it. Like I said, the week of Easter, if it hits just right, if Easter's on a Tuesday and I got to sell on a Thursday, everybody's already full, you know, for that. Because there is some Easter things that, a few, not like it used to be. It used to be, man, that was a great time, you know. But like this holiday coming up for the steer goats, a week, 2 weeks, you know. So, yes. Oh, that was it. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
We're really new to this, and so I apologize for asking us.
Oh, no, nothing's, no.
But you talk about the percentage of profit when, was taking a buckling versus making a wether and keeping him. At what age is it best to cut that buckling or buck and trying to keep him?
Sky shivers again. I'm here to talk about marketing. No, I think, I don't want, we don't raise a lot of goats. Raise a few, keep some in the feedlot. I'm not the best guy to ask about that. Some people in here I would ask. You know, I've got my opinions, but there you go again, it's my opinion on that. Like I said, if you're going to keep that, if you're going to keep him up to 70 pounds and bigger and you want to hit one of the markets, yeah, band him or cut him, and you can do it whenever. I mean, a lot of people do it when they're young. They're at the house now. We're banding and cutting some billies a year old, you know, just for the, you know, some holidays coming up later on in the year. So.
I would say personally, if you're gonna keep them for 2 or 3 months, and they're getting to that latter stage, you probably wanna do that because they'll go in the rut, start riding each other, then they start losing weight and stuff like that. So if your plan is to keep them for 2 or 3 months longer than that's whenever I would, me personally. These other guys probably have different things. So anybody else has got?
I think you're doing right. That 70-pound mark, usually if they get higher than that, weight-wise, and they're going to start going in a row, like shit out, because the meat's not going to taste the same, it's going to be different. So you need, that's once again, like my kids know where the market is. You plan on selling at 60, 62 pounds, you're going to sell 75, 80 pounds of each. So make that judgment then when you're going to make a ban. JD and I have talked about numerous times. I don't ban anything. I haven't seen a big difference in prices, but I'm not selling those 100-pound kids.
Yeah. Any other questions? I mean, we'll try your best. But I love you being in the business. Study your lessons. I don't mean that mean. I don't want to sound like I'm grouchy or mean, but you're in it to make money, to make a profit. Might like them goats. Hell, I guess some of us love them. Why? But anyway, if you're going to do it, study your lesson. When we learned that in school, you know, I wished I'd studied mine. I'm blessed to have 3 grandfathers. Dadgum, I wished I'd have followed the other 2 and not this one. But here we are. I did. Yeah, them other 2, man, one was a barber, one drove a dozer. I wished I'd have done it. But here I am stuck in this because I followed that one. But study your lesson. Goes back to the 3 W's. That tells you everything. In my opinion, it tells you everything, the 3 W's. And then you add in percent of profit. Ask around, study around. Don't believe the first person sitting next to you or your neighbor, in my opinion. There's goat traders here today. There's goat traders at my barn. They're wonderful. Listen to a lot of them, to a lot of people. It's a money-making deal. But you got to know where your percent of profit is and what you're going. Are you planning on selling a few of these sales, then coming to a sale barn? Or are you trying to plan here, you know? It's what you're doing. But like I said, out here today, I'm not blowing smoke. Don't need to do that. The nannies are great. I like the nannies a lot. There's not a nanny back there that I wouldn't take home and be proud of. And going back to what I do with them. Yeah.
Something else I want to mention, a lot of people here know this already, but I've done real well with this commercial mowing. The more people buying for resip, they're buying.
Yeah.
You can get twice the meat price on those.
Sure. Well, the last set of does that Dennis Higgins here's right down there by me at home and does a very, very good job with what he has. Very good. He sent me a set of goats 2 months ago, lost his wife, and kind of had a rough time there. He'll tell you his goats wasn't as good as they usually are come to my sale barn that day, and it was some does. They were number 2 kids. But people knew what they were, and I think they bring $3.65, was it a pound? A pound weighing 42 pounds or something, just because people knew what they were. They didn't go to slaughter, I promise you. But people knew what they were. You know, we advertise them as dentists. So, like I said, study your lessons. Yes, ma'am. Condition. Well, what I should have done, and Sky Shivers told me to do it, and I didn't do it. I didn't load the trailer and bring 5 goats. It's ridiculous. I didn't do it. If I can see their hip bones, they're sure enough number 2s or 3s. Don't want to break your hearts, but I'm going to tell you this. They brought me in here to talk about market, Sky Shivers, but eventually it's going to come around. Pick the right buck. I think does are great. Pick the right buck. A tall, slender buck will not produce a kid that's going to be a number 1. Good luck. Feed him all you want to. Might sneak a few past me. Yes. Muscular. It's going to yield something. That's what people don't talk about, the yield on these goats. The yield. That thin goat's not going to yield, especially if you try to send him back east, or even when we send him to them little plants in Texas. The yield's terrible. Fleshy goat over the hip. I can go right back here. Almost all your nannies back here. If I was grading them on a kill nanny deal, number 1s. Almost every one of them. Some of them fed more, some hadn't been, you know. Again, we go back to percent of profit. But it's like I said, if you study this, all this, you'll do good. Pick the right billy when you're putting them on. Last week, we sent 58 billies to slaughter. I had everything from a 75-pound pygmy billy to a 220 or 40-pound Spanish billy. Out of 58 billies, there was 4 billies that I really, really did not want to send. They were that good. 2, I don't know what they were, Spanish crosses. They weighed 220, 240. They were great billies. Not only were they big, had meat over the hips, stout. There was a white goat, had some Kiko in him, had something, I don't know. But there was 4 billies out of 58 that were great. They come right through my sale barn, Coffeyville and Perkins, and I slaughtered them, sent them to slaughter. 4 of them. They're good enough for anybody, I think. Study your billy. It's a huge part in my opinion. So, is there any other questions?
Hey, Mike. Yeah. So as a buyer, are you discounting too much condition?
No,
So no such thing as too much?
not really.
Going
No,
through the sale.
no, ma'am. No, you really can't. And did you know, let me ask this. If you've ever seen a goat hanging up, did you ever notice? He doesn't marble. When you go to that grocery store, you process that beef, and you see them white lines and all them yellow lines, you know, it depends on how they're fed. That's marbling. Watching a goat has no marbling. It's in clumps. And just like I said earlier, when you're going back east or wherever, if you got to hold that goat before he gets to that plant, them clumps of fat inside of him is what's going to keep him good. If you don't have none of that, it's going to get rough on them. But no, you can't get one too fat. No. I've got some goats there at the house, like I said, odds and ends, and some of them pygmies, like 80-something pygmies, they're already fat. We're on feeders, but most of them are fat. So we're just waiting for them to grow. And trust me, they will be fat when they're too fat, but fat.
You
Yeah.
say you can't get too fat, though, really, you're talking about meat. It's not your breeding animal.
No, not your breeding net. No. Anytime a fat nanny comes, tell a quick story. Over a fat nanny, glad you asked. This happened a few years ago. My daughter was in college, You'd have to know my daughter. You can tell she's out of me. We're at a sale barn. One of our barns burnt down in Perry till we moved to Payne County. We was at Perry at the sale barn. My daughter calls me and said, "Dad, I can't show up tonight. Got something going on." All right. Tell everybody I said hello. I said, I will. Hung phone up. 30, 45 minutes later, sale starts, and here comes the prettiest boar nanny you ever laid your eyes on. My God, hard, fat. And I know about her. Her teeth's about that long. She's never going to have a kid. She's barren. But the people who sent her, they want me to do my best to sell her. That's my job. But it's also my job to inform you that I don't think she's going to kid. So I say to the auctioneer, "Hey, big, fat, pretty nanny. Could be a reason why she's big and fat, but she's here. Everybody be your own judge." We had $1 at that time, seemed to me like, on them fat nannies to slaughter. I said 85 cents, 90, whatever it was. We got her right up there, and I was going to make her bring $1 no matter what. Well, we got her $1, and we passed by it. I turned to my good friend Mark Deem. I said, "Brother Mark, what are we going to do here? I'm going to get a call here in a few months, and they're going to say, that goat we bought at your sale barn, she ain't no good." And I know she's not. But I can't say that because of the people that brought her. I've got to be good to both. He said, "I'll just buy the blankety blank thing." I said, "Okay, so just get right in. We're at $1.14.15. And I said, "To heck with them. They'll have to learn their lesson. I'll just take a phone call and a gripe in 6 months from now." "Sold," auctioneer said. "How do I charge it?" And I'm looking at the crowd trying to figure out who this nut was. I see her. We're looking around, that girl that bought her said, "I charge my fat nannies to Katie 1. Hey, that's how I charge my fat nannies, is to Katie 1. And, you know, for a couple of seconds there, I thought, what the heck? Yeah, Katie 1. I got looking. Hell, that was my daughter. When she called me, she was in the parking lot. "Who's around you, Daddy?" And I told her. "Well, tell them hello, you know." She had snuck in, the auctioneer, the owners, even the lady who cooks knew about it, not me. She'd come in, pulled her hair back, and had a cap pulled up and sit way up high in the crowd. Yeah, there you go on your fat nanny deal. Cost me $14, $15 a hundred, you know. But I've told the story a jillion times, so it's sure enough worth it. Yeah, anybody else?
Mike, she brought up really heavy condition market goods. Some of that probably goes back to your point about percent of profit. All that extra fat on them, it's just going to get slung on the floor. Like you said,
Yes.
it is going to help them get there.
It's going to help them get there, and when you sell them, it looks good. But like I said, it goes back to percent of profit. You know, right now that old feed's cheap. I mean, we have some stuff designed just for us. You know, we get a ton of 2 at a time. It's $300 a ton. You know, a year and a half ago, what was it? 400 and something a ton. Feed's cheap now, so you know, look at that. But if that's all there is, I want to thank everybody for inviting me out. I've enjoyed it. We'd love to see you, Payne County Stockyards or Coffeyville Livestock Stockyards. If you have any questions, you can give us a call or anything. Thank y'all.